Hi, I'm Kesley.
And I'm Brooklyn.
We are Girl Scouts from Troop 234 in Utah.
Over the past year, we have been working on a project to help educate people about childhood cancer.
Our goal is to bring awareness to pediatric cancer and help support kids that are battling this awful disease. We have done a lot of research along with interviewing people in our area that have been directly impacted by pediatric cancer.
The first person we interviewed was Suzanne. Her daughter Ashton passed away after fighting leukemia for 6 years.
Countless chemotherapies, radiation. She was cancer-free. Her kidneys could never recover. And so she actually died of kidney failure.
We also interviewed Megan and her mom, Christy. Megan was first diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma in April 2020. She has now recently relapsed.
First signs were the lumps in the neck, which were the lymph nodes, and as well as the armpits, and sleeping quite more than normal. So she would come home from school and just crash.
Diagnosed with stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma 2 years ago, and had to do chemotherapy, radiation therapy, and a bone marrow transplant.
The last person we interviewed was Mitch, who was once a pediatric oncology nurse for Ashton at Primary Children's Hospital in Salt Lake City.
People in their life are at the sunrise of their life. They got to go through the whole day, right? And I work with people now at the sunset of life. I loved working with the elderly because the elderly have such colorful, meaningful life experiences. But I loved working with the young kids because they healed so well and they were just so pure and so innocent, and they were just a joy to work with.
Throughout our research, we have learned lots about different cancer treatments.
All of these treatments have terrible physical, emotional, and social effects.
Different chemos do different things to the body. 99% of the time, chemo is going to cause you to lose your hair. When I say loss of hair, I'm talking hair on your head, eyebrows, eyelashes. It's going to cause weight loss or weight gain. It also does different things to the skin. Sometimes your skin would be more dry than normal. Sometimes it darkens the skin around the eyes. It also brings about what is like a chemo cough. Basically, if you've ever had allergies and you get that little rattle cough, another side effect is it's called mucositis, where you get sores in your mouth. You can't swallow, you can't eat. It hurts to even drink water. We met kids at the hospital that did have the breakdown of the nails and they would lose their, which is awful. There is a specific chemo that she took that affects her neurological abilities. So we had to constantly watch how she walked because it will affect the way you walk. The radiation part also can burn the skin. It can cause a constant sore throat. I would say probably the biggest side effects of chemo, if you haven't researched it yet, is most people that receive chemo or radiation in their lifetime are going to end up having an additional illness such as a heart problem, a lung problem, and even an additional cancer later in life.
I would get kind of sad during summer. While I'm stuck in the hospital, I see a lot of my friends going out, and that could be the part of the problems with social media. You see all these people having fun and you're like, I'm not doing that.
She was really wanting to be student body vice president. She wanted to go to junior prom. She wanted to just be a normal kid, really enjoying high school. It was the end of her junior year, and she was like, I want to have a really fun senior year. So at the end of her junior year is when she went up to Seattle for treatment, and we had to live in Seattle. We lived there for 10 months with no friends, no family.
I had one child that was there, and I saw his dad maybe once, and he was there for months on end. He was maybe 8 or 10, somewhere between there. he would put the phone down and listen to his family. Nobody would be talking to him, but he would just listen to his family move around their house. And so he would just leave the phone on the hook, off the hook, and just listen to his family on speakerphone, just do things. And his mom, because she had a husband that was in jail a lot, she couldn't come visit that often. I only saw her right before he died.
Cancer is a lonely, lonely illness. When you're in and out of the hospital and you can't be around people and your friends are out having fun, but yet you have to stay at home, maybe more compassion. Cancer does need a lot more people to have compassion for it and for those who are suffering with it.
You have friends and family, but of course, you don't know what you're going through. So you have to appreciate what you have, the people you have, but you also have to look in with yourself and just be happy with yourself and to stay happy.
If you guys can look at the things you have in a positive way and focus mostly on the good, then the bad doesn't seem as bad. Ashton saw positive things like, hey, I get to see my friends, my nurses. Oh, I want to go meet some other patients. Oh, I want to write a patient a note and put that in their room.
That's why I appreciate these experiences, because not a lot of people go through that through such a short amount of time.
The reason why a lot of these nurses and doctors work with children is because they're positive. So when Ashton was in the hospital, her best friends became her nurses. And so every time we went to the hospital, it'd be like, oh, Ashton! And we got to be with our friends. And then when they would leave, they would hug her and say, I love you.
Well, what I did to help kind of cheer him up, take my face and put it on the scanning machine, and I would move it and make these really funny faces, and I would move my eyeballs around so it looks like my eyes would go in different directions, put them on everybody's doors. And I would post them in their room in the middle of the night, so when they woke up in the morning, they'd have this really funny, kooky picture. This kid is the first kid I probably started doing it to, and he had pictures all over his wall, and I let him draw on them. I would wash his clothes, and I would come in with his underwear on my head and just walk around, and he'd try to get them off my head. So there's a lot of things you can do that are kind of silly, but kind of lighten the mood and distract them.
If you ever hear about nurses and doctors who work in the hospitals, they are really, really, really good. Like their nurses are pretty amazing.
So a lot of times people ask, why do we treat kids if it does all these bad things to them? Because eventually their body, especially young people's bodies, heal really fast. So they would heal really fast and be able to go back to school and enjoy their life, go home, live life normal and all kinds of stuff. We bought her years of life. It probably cost over $1 million to treat her throughout those years. But her quality of life overall, probably after treatment and stuff in between those years, she got to go back to school.
Abraham Lincoln once said, "In the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years." The next time you're upset about the boy that doesn't like you back, your homework assignment that isn't finished, that girl that always laughs at you, or the test you have to take tomorrow. Instead, think about these pediatric cancer patients and the challenges they face every day.